1 in 5 people in Australia are estimated to have some form of allergy or anaphylaxis, with around 3% of Australians reporting having an anaphylactic episode at some point in their lives. Anaphylaxis is the most severe form of an allergic reaction and is life-threatening if not immediately treated. The first line of treatment for anaphylaxis is the administration of an adrenaline autoinjector, the most common of which in Australia is an EpiPen. Through some primary and secondary research, I found that less than half of users prescribed an adrenaline autoinjector carried it with them at all times, and in a simulated emergency scenario, only 33% of people correctly used an EpiPen without any prior training. This highlights some major issues with the current EpiPen, and I wanted to find out why this occurred. So through primary research and speaking to people with anaphylaxis, I found that whilst having an adrenaline autoinjector is vital to surviving an anaphylactic attack, these attacks are so rare for an individual that they often either forget or purposely leave the EpiPen at home when they go out. I found this was because the EpiPen was bulky, obtrusive, and inconvenient. It also needs to be carried around in a special case to protect it from fluctuations in temperature, which further adds to the bulky and inconvenience of it. Some users also reported feeling a little bit of a stigma while they were carrying their EpiPen. My solution to this is the AdrenaKey. It aims to solve the low carry compliance of a traditional EpiPen by simplifying how you carry it. Simply attach it to your keys and forget about it until you need it. The form factor of the AdrenaKey is slim and small, only slightly larger than a car key, and can be easily slipped onto any keychain. The design of the AdrenaKey is sleek and aesthetic to blend into your keys and not stand out as a medical device. So the AdrenaKey makes compliance easier, bringing peace of mind to allergy sufferers and carers alike. The AdrenaKey has a simple 3-step process to use. It's simple and intuitive. So the pen-like design is more intuitive than a traditional EpiPen, and it significantly reduces the amount of accidental stick injuries. The design feels natural to use. You just need to remove a small locking flap. Then the cap is removed from the needle end, which shows an obvious needle exit. The instructions are concise and clear, alleviating any anxiety from being overwhelmed in an emergency. The needle cover will pop out after use, covering the needle and allowing safe disposal. The idea behind the design is that you almost always carry your keys with you when you leave the house. They are easy to carry and are part of most people's automatic habits. Then, if you have an anaphylactic attack while you are out, all you need to do is grab your keys and follow the simple process to administer the life-saving adrenaline. As said earlier, temperature fluctuation is a big problem for traditional EpiPens. The medication inside is very sensitive to temperature extremes. The current solution for this is the insulated carry case. However, these are brightly colored and bulky. So my solution is to instead separate the medication into a wet and dry, and then mix them together before injection. The dry part will contain the medication as a powder, whilst the wet part is the solution that will carry the medicine through the needle and into the body. This separation solves the temperature problem as it will greatly decrease the sensitivity to heat and cold. It also has the added benefit of greatly increasing the shelf life of the product, meaning that instead of replacing your EpiPen every year, you might not have to replace the AdrenaKey for a few years at a time. Another issue with the EpiPen is needle length. So intramuscular injection is recommended to have the fastest adrenaline response compared to subcutaneous injections. And some studies have found that traditional EpiPens have needles that are too short for some women and children. The EpiPen needle is only about 15 millimeters long, whereas AdrenaKey's needle is 23 millimeters long. This results in an intramuscular injection more often in more patients. The AdrenaKey solves major issues with the common EpiPen. It solves carry compliance by being slim and discreet. It solves temperature sensitivity with a wet and dry mechanism. It reduces the stigma by being designed more for aesthetics than to look like a medical product, and it is more effective than existing solutions by resulting in an intramuscular injection more often.